Hi Virgo, this is Wishko the Ferret. Thanks for hopping into the Ferret Den. We're keeping it warm here. We're keeping it cozy. Today we have a reading for you from May 29th to June 4th. You also have a full moon in Sagittarius coming up either on the 3rd or the 4th, depending on where you're located in the world. So check out your time zone to check out the day. Also check out your favorite astrologer so that you can work with some of your manifestation magic and work on, at least the full moon's good for releasing things. So that's the kind of magic I like to work with. But okay, chill out. So let's just jump right in here. So drop into your heart space. Let the dust spiritually, physically, and emotionally settle around and within you so that you can determine which messages are for you and which messages are for others. And I want to thank Archangel Michael for connecting me with the highest level of protection. So thank you for shrouding my aura, shrouding my connection, shrouding this reading with love and positivity and uplifting energy. Thank you to my angel guides. Thank you to my spirit team for connecting me with the Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising Collective. And we'll see what's going on for y'all. I feel like kicking it old school, so we're going to do a Celtic cross and see, because I usually do like a free flow here. Okay. Okay. Okay, so Spirit's saying something, it's hard to hear, but they're saying something about worrying. So it's whatever you're currently worrying about at the moment, or perhaps you just have a lot of worries right now. The center of your reading, the situation that it's talking about, is this prolonged pain and suffering from this Three of Swords. And the challenge here is the Page of Cups. So what could be elongating this sorrow feels like the obstacle to me, is kind of what's prolonging this pain. Is a matter of the heart. Perhaps this was a new suitor, like a new romantic interest or a new situation that you thought was going to fill up your heart space with joy, and then ended up not going the way that you planned, or you ended up being disappointed or heartbroken as a result. It's Three of Swords is definitely some type of pain or loss, but the Page of Cups can be like a connection of some sort that you formed with somebody else and then it was lost for whatever reason. But Spirit's saying relinquish control of the situation, because there are just so many things beyond what you're seeing, and there are so many things beyond what you're able to, it's almost like you can't see it, so you can't acknowledge it, and it's hard to heal from things that you know. So it's just a matter of moving on. Let's just look at the rest of your reading so we can like dive more into that. In the subconscious, we have Page of Pentacles. Some of your cards kind of wanted to come out in reverse, but given how like it's already kind of like a challenging reading, I feel like the reverse just kind of confuses me, and my everything was just spinning anyway. But for whatever reason, it's kind of calling me to read the reverse, like the upside down version of this. But the upright Page of Pentacles is usually in search of substance for the mind, or substance for the soul, or some type of learning or yearning for knowledge here. And there's something, especially when it's in the subconscious area of your reading, this is some type of learning coming up, but perhaps this is a lesson that's very hard to learn. I'm not sure if there's something coming up again and again, but Spirit's kind of giving me the word judgment. Not the tarot card judgment, but perhaps you're feeling judgment for yourself because you feel like you haven't learned your lesson, and perhaps coming from up from within, like from your subconscious, or like your inner, this is like your inner world, because that like underlies, like right at the bottom of the Celtic cross is like the, I guess like, so, if only I could show you like what the format. But if you look up the classic Celtic cross, it's like typically it's the third one. There are different numbers, but there's the subconscious section of your reading is the Page of Pentacles, but reversed, it's almost like this learning, that because the upright is Page of Pentacles with learning, the reversed is kind of like a resistance to learning or not being able to learn or some type of tricky, maybe trying to, it's almost like you're hitting a wall, like you're going at the same thing again and again and again, and something's not quite sinking in. And there might be a little bit of judgment or fears because of that. In the past position, you have the Ace of Pentacles. This could be like a new, this could be a new financial adventure. This could be the start of a new journey. So I actually assigned the Pentacles with spirituality as well. Spirituality or some type of material success. It could be our skills, even, or our talents. So this could have been something new that you pursued, or you saw an opportunity that presented itself to you and you took it. And then maybe it just didn't, I feel like this is something different. For a lot of you, this opportunity didn't go, because like it doesn't have to be a relationship that I'm referencing, like a loss of a relationship. This could have been like a loss of some type of adventure that you started. And if this is not you, then I feel like for whatever reason, this could also be just something completely unrelated. Like in the recent past, you could have like if you started something new recently and it actually is going very well, Spirit's saying to focus on that. But it is in your past position, so something that's already been introduced and something that's already in your life. But that just like if that's sorry, Spirit's like you need to be clear. So if there's something new that is going well that you started that promotes your mental health, your mental well-being, your financial health, because that's kind of what the Ace of Pentacles is about, is new financial opportunities, and it's going well, stick to that. Pay attention to that and keep your mind off of whatever it is that you lost, just so you can give yourself time to heal. If this is like, I'm getting a lot of energy. For some of you, it's like half and half, because for the other half of y'all, this is energy that perhaps you tried a new start with, whether it's a new person, new relationship, you started it, and then all of a sudden, like it just stopped. Like it stopped, it just ended, and there's no way of moving forward with it. It didn't grow the way that it was supposed to, or the way that you wanted it to. It all happened the way that it was supposed to, but you felt it was supposed to happen a certain way, and it didn't happen that way. But the focus here, there seems to be a lot of focus on your fears. There's a lot of trepidation I'm hearing for the future. There's a lot of feelings of fear in relation to the future and what's going to become of, I don't really know what. Spirit's not really coming through exactly with what, but this is something that you would be feeling in this energy. If you're gonna know. If I pulling the Knight of Swords, like if this has resonated with you, then you'll know exactly what that fear is. But there's, for whatever reason, it seems like your attention has been focused on the Knight of Swords, or the Nine of Swords. You have the Knight of Pentacles in your recent future, and Spirit's literally saying, it's so interesting because it's almost like you're, this is so strange. So, like, you have Pentacles adventures here. I feel like some of you maybe started a new endeavor, but, like, okay, the most basic example I can think of is that you started a new financial opportunity, but there's, like, a relationship here or something that you lost that was, like, distracting you. Or not distraction, it's almost like I just heard you suffered a penalty. So maybe you knew you were making a mistake and you did it anyway. Like, I don't know. This is weird. It's kind of like a weird energy I'm dealing with, y'all, because I feel like this Celtic cross is dealing with two different scenarios in your life. I'm not really sure. They could be the same, so take it how it resonates in whichever way, but I'm just going to try to give the basic meanings of the card and not try to make too much sense of it, because what do I know? I'm the reader. I'll just say whatever position it's in, and you find the resonating where you find it. But the Knight of Pentacles in the near future is growing. So whatever seed has been planted with the Ace of Pentacles, for some of you, if this start is going strong, the Knight of Pentacles is very slow moving. So first of all, have patience, but it's laying the seeds, laying the foundation for something to grow into the future. So there is hope, and I just heard there's spontaneity in your actions, so that maybe something divinely inspired can come through you. Maybe I'm getting the image of a farmer who is like, I'm gonna make a potato and plant crop, and tomato and potato crops this season. And then all of a sudden you're like, I wanna grow blueberries. And there was no plan to grow blueberries. It's just all of a sudden you have this divine inspiration to grow blueberries. And then it ends up growing beautifully and selling well and all this other stuff. And then just the farmer just receives a lot of abundance from many different areas. Not only is he pleased that he grew blueberries, and he's able to save and stash some in his fridge so he can eat it later, and he's also able to sell the outcrop, or I don't even know if that's a word. He's able to sell his blueberry crops to others in the area and makes a good hefty sum, and then buy something that he wants. I'm just getting like this overall just feeling and sense of abundance from something spontaneous that comes through. So if you feel divinely inspired to randomly plant some other seed, Spirit's kind of like egging you on and saying like, it's going to happen. Just like be in a state of positivity and creativity. That way you can receive that inspiration, so that you can do with that spontaneity what you will. Okay? Because you can create things from it. It will grow, it will flourish, but it's something that will last for many, many years to come. Whatever it is that you're investing your efforts into, whatever new beginning this is, it's something that you can actually push forward with. And maybe that's where your fears are. Maybe your fears aren't in, like a particular loss of a person. Maybe it could have been the person that you were, or like the relationship with your job that you were in that you had to leave, or something along that line. It was like suffering loss of something, but there's a lot of fears associated with either this new beginning or the loss of something, and you're kind of distracted by this. But there is abundance coming in. The Ace of Pentacles is very clear, followed by the Knight of Pentacles. Are you kidding me? That just means that something amazing has come through, and then now it's time to grow, but it's going to take time and effort to grow and cultivate. Divine timing is popping up in my mind, so I just feel like there's like a sacred plan happening around this. So like, don't be shocked if it's stagnant for a while, and then all of a sudden like something like does amazingly, and then just kind of goes stagnant for a while, and then goes amazingly again. Like, just give it some time. Give it some time so it can grow. Okay? So you, at the present moment, this is you, feeling out in the cold with the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is... I'm getting like a depressive energy from this, so I feel like maybe some of you have been kind of roaming around depressed, focused on your worries, focused on your fears, not quite in the right mental headspace to like entertain any sort of notion that you could be successful, but you can be, and this reading is kind of confirmation for that if you're looking for that, because the Five of Pentacles is feeling like the rest of the world is shutting you out of the church, when really what these people don't know is that they can just simply be let into the church. I never want to use the Five of Pentacles to invalidate anyone's feelings. Like, there's obviously a reason why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. But Five of Pentacles shows up for me whenever I feel like perhaps my misery has been dragging on a little too long, and I'm crafting the wrong story out of whatever happenings there are. So in the healing process, just make sure that you're not viewing the world as happening to you rather than viewing the world as happening for you. You can still say that was a challenge. You can still validate your feelings and say, gosh, that was awful, and I hope I never have to do that again. But you don't have to sit there and pretend to be grateful for it either if you're still healing, and if you're still feeling hurt by it and you feel like you want to lash out at everybody. That's totally okay. That's totally okay to want to do. It's just an acceptance of the situation, so just give yourself some time to accept the situation for what it is, and try not to beat yourself up about it, because it happened the way that it happened, and you learn from it, and you're growing from it. You're still healing from it. You will still heal from it probably for a while, and that's okay. That's fine. I just heard, honey, you got what it takes. And some of you, I'm hearing the word rebel, so some of you might want to rebel as well. Some of you might want to, kick out and lash and scream, and give yourself the space to do that, okay? Give yourself the space to express that. In your environment, you have the Two of Cups. Their environment are the things that we surround ourselves with. For some of you, I'm feeling like if this was the loss of a love, you could be surrounded, which could actually be like, I don't want to say, I'm looking for the right word to say that it's breeding more misery. But when you view other people's happiness, for example, when you view other people having this soulmate connection or this soul bond, and you wish you had that too, it's almost like you're surrounded by people who do that. It reminds me of like the one friend in the whole group of friends that's single, and everybody else brings their partners to like all these events, and then they're the only ones that are single there watching everybody and being like, but that's what I want. Why don't I have that yet? So that's, I just feel like maybe if it's the loss of a relationship, you're just noticing everybody around you at the present moment, it might not be cultivating that. space of peace and safety for you. So it's okay, first of all, to retreat back and step away from people for a while. Like, not saying isolate yourself, but if these are, like, you know, the people that are, like, making, like, not purposely making you feel like crap, but, you know, it's a sensitive time. So you want to treat yourself like a baby. Literally hold yourself and cradle yourself and give yourself time to mourn. Okay? But if this is the last of a situation, like, I don't know. The environment just says, like, you're around supportive friends or you're around supportive people. Like, you can indulge in support at this time. Just make sure that's not provoking any of those feelings within you. And not that it would ever be their fault, but it's okay to say, I'm going to take like a few days for me, or I'm going to take a week or a few weeks off. Like, it's okay to be that person. I am that person many times. And sometimes it's not even like my friend's faults. Like, I'm like, you know what? Like, it never is. It's always like, I need time to collect myself by myself. But the Two of Cups is always like a good indicator. I just feel like it's just everything on the outside that you're kind of looking at, and that's kind of perpetuating this misery. But the Two of Cups is about working with the self. It's like, if it could be a soulmate bond, but I always view the Two of Cups as working with your higher self. So perhaps you, like, the universe, not even perhaps, I do feel the universe is providing you with multiple and ample opportunities to connect with signs and synchronicities around you, because they're being sent to you, just to improve your relationship with your higher self, and then just to get a sense of where you're supposed to go next. I can't help but feel like I'm seeing somebody look up at the stars and ask, why am I not where I need to be yet? And your higher self is talking through you. You just need to go into the subtle realms and listen, and really take the time to be with yourself so you can cultivate that relationship with your higher self, because that's kind of what you're being called to do now, and the universe is trying to create that space so that you can do that. Okay, and that's going to be in your environment. Your hopes and your fears. You have the moon here in your hopes and your fears. So in terms of your hopes, I see the moon as something like, because honestly, like, work with the full moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is typically a lucky sign. Full moon, I mean, even if you're watching this like way past when the full moon in Sagittarius is, this is like I said, June 3rd or June 4th is when that full moon is coming out, depending on where you're at in the world. And honestly, anytime you work full moon magic, like, you can work your magic at any time. It doesn't really matter, but the planets help you. And even if it's way past this time, you can still, you know, ride off of the energy of this video, or even just be in a space. Just cool, calm, like, collect yourself, and then just make a sacred space and calm down. Calm down in this space, and, like, really try to sit and anchor yourself into, what do I want to let go? What do I need to release? And what do I need to call in? Because the hope here is that we can manifest something. The hope here is that we can see the answer. But interestingly enough, when the moon is in the hopes and fears, it's almost like, because I mean, I can very easily tell you what the fears are. It's so strikingly clear to me, because the moon is a card about confusion. You're not really clear. The moon is highly intuitive, but it is also illusion. It's intuitive, but it's illusion. And there are hopes and fears of, like, I want to follow my intuition to go on the right path, and it's almost like you feel like you're on the right path. Like, it might feel like you're off the path, but Spirit is saying you're on the right path, but it's hard for you to trust your intuition to know where to go next. And you're afraid you're going to get confused, and you're not really going to choose the right path forward. But that's just the moon. It's just not very clear of, like, where to go. But what Spirit is saying is the outcome of the situation, which you can do with this King of Pentacles here. It says that it's almost like the King of Pentacles is kind of rigid. They're very set in their ways, but they're successful because of it. So perhaps if you established a routine, or a certain way of thinking that you can pronounce every single day, and then, like, maybe alter some of your thinking patterns to fit something more constructive and more conducive for the lifestyle that you want to live, then that could be beneficial for you. But King of Pentacles is very resourceful, so they work with what they have. They're not necessarily like the most, like, you know, you don't have to be loaded with millions in order to be the King of Pentacles. You don't have to have all the fame and the fortune and all of that. The King of Pentacles just uses his resources well, and he's earned his place up there, even though he started from nothing. So the King of Pentacles has other things at his disposal, and he's done things that have always worked. So if you are struggling, or if you need help, look to other people who have made it out from where you were. Look to other people who can teach you, like, conventional ways of how to do certain things, so that way you can follow in their footsteps and you can achieve the same thing. What's that one? That phrase, steal like an artist. Or no, steal like a, no, that's a book by Struthless. I've been watching his videos lately. So he says, steal like an artist. Maybe that is like an actual phrase. I don't know. But, you know, you can never fully be original in the world of creativity unless you straight up plagiarize. Don't do that. But every idea has been thought of before. Every idea has been created. There are millions upon millions upon millions of books out there. So you really can't, like, I just heard go with the same idea twice. So don't be afraid to, like, you know, go with convention. It's not awful to go with convention. There's a reason why so many people do similar things. It's because it works. So at least it works for them. So try things, even if you want to roll your eyes, even if you want to say, but I'm not like everybody else. Or even if you want to say, like, oh, but that's not going to work for me. Just try. Just try. Because the outcome is going to be that, you know, something that sticks, that is very conventional and practical and, like, traditional, even if it makes you want to roll your eyes, might just actually work for you. So, but I just feel like if this is also, like, financial abundance as well, like, this is something you will earn over time. This is something that, again, if you put in the work, if you put in the effort, and you're slowly planting your seeds, and if you're going with that divine inspiration within you, and you're able to manage everything effectively, like, this isn't like, oh, like, you know, here's a podcast. Okay, now here's a book idea. Okay, like, do this and that and the third, and now do them all at once. That's not what it is at all. But slowly putting forth the effort and acting on your inspirations is going to spark and fuel more creativity and actually provide you with a lot of enthusiasm and energy to get your work done so that things aren't boring and mundane all the time. But I also heard something about trial and error, so that could also be important for you in whatever it is, whatever endeavors that you're undertaking now. So that's just some food for thought. King of Pentacles does say as an outcome that you will be successful, though. So keep at it. Keep at it. I just heard worry about you. Try to focus on the things that you can control rather than worrying about external factors coming up and mucking up your life. Okay? So let's see what your oracle cards are so we can, like, make a little bit more sense and see kind of the way forward here for you, Virgo. No. Okay. I'm sorry. This is like the same. Let me take a drink here. This is the same type of energy that we've been talking about, because I literally have Orphaned that got pulled out of the deck, but it's sitting next to the Nine of Swords, and they look very similar to one another. They both are curled up in a ball, but with their heads bowed. And the thing about Orphaned is, this is a card of feeling abandoned. This is a card of feeling alone. And it's almost like you feel left out in the cold. The Five of Pentacles, basically. You feel left out in the cold by those who either you trusted or situations that the trusted were supposed to take care of you. But this is that story that we paint ourselves where we feel very alone, and it's that it's this feeling of desperation that comes through. Anytime I'm in a state of desperation or anytime I'm feeling very alone, this card always pops up, and it reminds me, first of all, that you're not alone. It's okay to feel dejected, but perhaps sometimes we mourn a little too long. It's important to hold that healing space for yourself, but also make sure that, like, there's this dart. This is like this famous saying or phrase that I'm not going to quote exactly, but the general idea is that whenever, I'm pretty sure it's like psychology principle too, but when something happens, that initial first dart or that initial feeling is going to hurt. That's unavoidable. It's a fact of life. You're always going to get first darts. Now, the path to healing is going to be many other darts. Now, oftentimes people, like, when you think about something or when you review past situations again and again, you're just going to keep getting dart, 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 dart. So you get the second dart. Any type of worrying or fuss after or mourning unnecessarily over something is endless darts, endless darts, endless darts. And it's just continually adding to the pain. So not saying like, oh, don't think about it, because it's not that easy. As someone who comes from mental health struggles, I understand. But really taking the time to try to focus on something else, like sometimes darts will keep being thrown, because sometimes that's our own mind. But when you turn your awareness to something else, yes, darts will keep coming and it'll keep popping up in your mind. But if you keep focusing on other things, the pain lessens over time. Darts stop getting thrown after a while. Your mind stops throwing darts at you, and then you eventually like achieve that moving on power that everyone seems to magically be able to do. It's not magic. It takes work, but it's a skill. It's a skill. I would say moving on is a skill, and it's something that can be cultivated with everybody. So just some food for thought. It also came out with all that glitters, and all that glitters is not everything is as it seems. Not everything is as it seems. You might be chasing something. Just watch that you're chasing it for the right reasons, and not because like it seems like the thing that perhaps you wanted before was not all that it appeared, and that's why you lost it, because it wasn't what you truly wanted. And down the line, Spirit was like, oh, that's not going to actually give you what you wanted, so we're going to stop. We're going to stop it right now. And, you know, maybe you stopped it, or something in someone's energy stopped it, but it was for a reason. It was because it wasn't for you. It wasn't like it wouldn't fit your most authentic you down the line. There was a reason. I just heard you're happier this way. So trust and believe that once this pain lessens, once this feeling lessens, just know while you're healing that, you know, this was something that was, it was meant to go downhill. It was meant to go downhill, and it wasn't meant for you. Because even though it glittered, it was not your gold. So, something you did. What did I say about cradling yourself like a baby? We have, dear Spirit, bring a gentle touch. You need to take care of yourself. You need to baby yourself. Give yourself a gentle touch, because I keep hearing throughout this whole reading that you feel Spirit is being judgmental of you, or that they are thinking less of you. That is not true. And maybe you're being too judgmental of yourself. You're being too hard on yourself. Spirit is saying you need to be more gentle with yourself, because it's almost like, I know, and it's a habit that's hard to break. I'm getting that it's a habit, like I'm hearing in my left ear that it's a habit. And it's a hard habit to break. But I'm not asking you to break the pattern now. I'm saying just getting through one step in front of the other. Just deal with what it is now. Hold yourself, cradle yourself now, treat yourself well, treat yourself kindly. Quite literally, I like to sometimes put myself, I take out like a sheet of paper, or I typically open up my Google Docs. That's what I do, is I type on my computer. Some people write on paper. And I talk about myself in the third person, and I'll literally write the scene. She sits in her bedroom at her table, and she is afraid, blah, 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 blah. And then I talk about my feelings, but I use, like, you know, third party pronouns. And then I'll say, okay, third person, that's the word. The writer degree, gotta figure it out. The third person point of view. I'll write about it in third person point of view. And then I will say, I will pretend to be a character who comes in, an extra character comes in and treats her, or like I will come in, or I'll go the she, I'll look at myself as she, but then I'll be like a second me and say I. Because it's like I'm somebody else. I'm pretending that I am somebody else. I don't know if this makes sense. Let me try that again. So I'll write on a piece of paper. I'm like, or I'll type on my Google Docs, and I'll be like, she sits at her desk, and she's very sad and lonely because blah, 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 blah. But then I come up and remind her that she's okay, that she's everything she's ever wanted to be and more. Blah, 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 blah. You know, something like that. And then it'll be like, it's a strange concept, and like my crown chakra is tickling as I say this. So like, I mean, you get into your flow state, because you'll be surprised what comes out. Writing sometimes, or like any type of creative endeavor, sometimes that's how Spirit talks to us. It's all like a divine orchestration type of thing. You'd be surprised what feeds through and what comes out, because, you know, you got some things that, you know, unfiltered, you got some things to say. So, definitely treating yourself like a third party, and then going back and reading it, and you're like, huh. And then you can start taking tips from that person and start, like, you know, treating yourself like you treated yourself in the story. You know, good. You have Nightingale Spirit, love is all around. So this is just assurance that, you know, nightingales sing. Nightingales play music. For whatever reason, play music. Music is, maybe you haven't been listening to as much music lately, but that is actually a big mood lifter. Like, I felt kind of icky today because I was like, I want to play with my ferrets. I need to enrich them. I need to be a better ferret mom. And then I just messed up my room because ferrets like different environments. I just messed up my room and turned on some music, and I was singing and dancing with them and running around. And it's so amazing how like music can change your mood depending on the music that's playing. And love is all around. Love is everywhere. Love is in everything that we do. Just acknowledge or just really take the time to sit and feel that you have other parties in your life that love you very much. It might not be the kind of love that you're seeking. It might not be the kind of situations or relationships that you're wanting right now. But it's still there. It's still there to support you. It's still there to hold you, to at least fill up your cup at least halfway. And then you can work on filling up the rest of it. You don't need anybody to fill up the rest of your cup. You don't need anybody to fill up your cup for you if you're looking for the other half, or if you're looking for, like, Spirit's just saying, find a support person to help lift you out of your rut, okay? And last but not least, we're going to roll some dice for you to see what's going on. We have 7, 3, 8. I'm pulling from Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray. You are being guided to trust in heaven and know you are safe. Angels are always with you and are standing close at this time. Surrender any concerns you have about your pathway to heaven, and you will allow that pathway to unfold. One more time, you are being guided to trust in heaven and know you are safe. Angels are always with you and are standing close at this time. Surrender any concerns you have about your pathway to heaven, and you will allow that pathway to unfold. That being said, Virgo, thank you so much for tuning in. That was your reading. I am hoping that you have the best week, even though there's a lot of heavy energy here. I know it can be very difficult, but I really feel in your energy you can do it. You really just got to be that person to pick yourself back up, because I know that it's very hard to count on someone else to save you if they don't know that you're suffering. And usually I have found, at least in all of my spiritual trials, that I needed to be the one to save myself. I needed to, I just heard category sickness. So some of you might actually, and again, I'm not a licensed professional, but if you have therapeutic tools that at your disposal that you can use, there's a lot of free resources online. If you have actual therapy available to you, and if you have the resources to do so, I always highly recommend therapy. I think everyone can go to therapy and benefit from it, but I'm also the psychology degree, so relax. Wow, someone just told me practice what you preach. So I'm tuning them out, okay? I am tuning them out because it's okay. Your reading's done anyway. And again, I don't want to turn anyone off because I know some people are like really against therapy, but if that's something that does call to you, I feel like everyone can go for a little bit of self-reflection and can always use a sounding board for their own feelings, because you never know what you can uncover. They also provide you with tools to help change the way that you're thinking too. You might think, okay, well, the world made me this way, but you know what? You can make yourself out of that way. Okay, and then you can turn your thinking from the world did this to me to I can change this and I can change me, and then as a consequence I can change the world. Not taking control of everything, but at least seizing control of what you can, and that is yourself. And that is the most empowering thing I feel that we have for ourselves, Virgo. But that being said, if you like the video, if this resonated with you anyway, if you like my style, if you think I'm cool, go ahead, like and subscribe, and all of the things if this helped you. And it just helps the channel grow, and I love hearing from you guys. So I hope you have a great week, Virgo, and I will see you next time. I love you. Bye.